Welcome to Uncomfortable Growth, the podcast where we get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. This is a space for real conversations about growth in all the places life stretches us, because growth doesn't only happen when things are going well, because sometimes growth looks like we're barely surviving. If you ever felt like growth was harder than you expected, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's conversation. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super pumped you're here. I feel very excited to be the first one to get you on a podcast because I feel like you've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. I listen to a ridiculous amount of podcasts. I've always wanted to be a guest, so thank you for having me.
Well, so our podcast is about getting uncomfortable. It's called Uncomfortable Growth. As an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. We'll get into the business that you own in a second. You know the stresses and everything that comes along with it. And I feel in the world that we live in right now, social media makes everything look easy. Social media makes everything look perfect.
Right.
And sometimes it's really nice for everyone to see the work that goes behind everything. It's really nice for people to talk about the real stuff, the hard stuff, the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. To understand that, yes, as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of luxuries, but there's a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes. And the hope of the podcast is, as people listen to it, they can relate to you or understand where you're coming from, and it inspires them to step out of their comfort zone and push through with their goals and their dreams.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have difficulty. Like, something we started doing last year was making videos, which has been a crucial part of business growth.
Yeah.
But pushing yourself to make them is not easy, especially for myself. I'm a bit introverted. I like, one-on-one conversations rather than pushing yourself to make a video. It's not comfortable, but you get better at it the more you do.
So,
for sure.
Before we get into introducing you, I have a question for you. Okay. If I said to you, Derek, I will pay you, let's even go low, let's say $100,000 a year. Let's go low. If you post one video a day, 5 days a week for me.
Okay.
On Instagram and Facebook, I'll give you $100,000 come January 2027. Would you do it?
So 1 full year of making videos.
5 days a week. It doesn't even have to be, let's take out the making a video. Let's just put in, just talk on social media. Get on social media, put your face out there and say, hey, I'm Derek. I'm not going to spoil it yet. I own this business. Here's a pro tip. Or maybe you record your guys doing what they're doing. Or let's not overcomplicate it where you have to sit down in a studio and make a video per se. Just you have to post something about either your business or you or your life, your wife, your kids, your life on social media, and I will give you $100,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
yeah.
So it's crazy to think that if I paid you, but I would I will guarantee you, if you post just one, I tell everyone more than one, but if you post just one video a day on social media, it will generate you $100,000 more than what you're making right now.
Yeah, at least. That is completely
logical.
Yeah.
But it's funny when it's somebody else saying, hey, you have to do this for me. You'll do it for them, but you won't do it for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
That's business, though. That's entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So let's introduce yourself. We've got a couple cameras in here, so either one, doesn't matter. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What is your business? And give a little bit about who you are as a person and as a business owner.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Derek Johnstone. I'm the owner of Onyx Smart Security. I've owned Onyx for about 5 years now. It used to be called Davidson Security. I purchased it from my boss after working for him for 4 or 5 years. He sold the business to me, kind of showed me the ropes. He was an interesting character, but I definitely learned a lot from him. Gave me an opportunity of a lifetime to take over a fairly large clientele. Immediately I changed the name to Onyx Smart Security. Worked by myself for 6 months, hired someone, eventually hired another person, and so on. And then, you go through hiring and firing. And the beginning of last year, we were down to a core 3 of us. And the beginning of last year, so 2025, we started to take everything seriously. We learned a lot, learned what we were good at, where we should focus. A key part of our growth last year was working with my mentor, who's Paul Ohm. You know Paul. Yeah, he's definitely helped us. Last year we grew about 200.
I put it on airplane mode so that wouldn't happen. Hold on 1 second. A plastic surgeon. All right, let's. Hey Siri, turn on Do Not Disturb.
Even with airplane mode on.
Even with airplane mode, because I'm on Wi-Fi, that's why. Do not disturb. Okay, let's go back here. All right, back into it. I'm sorry. Okay, so we were talking about Paul.
Yep.
You hired Paul. Keep going.
So,
and action.
Last year we grew about 250%, and Paul was a key part of that. We meet together weekly. We talk together all the time, but he's famous for giving you your to-do lists for the next week. I can kind of go over some of the areas that we focus on, but last year was a great year. We went from 3 employees, including myself, to 8 employees starting this year.
Oh, wow.
And we've really focused on providing the best service possible to our customers, as well as using the best technology available to keep customers happy.
So Derek, he is driven is what I'm getting. You took on a business that wasn't yours. Again, we haven't really said what the business is, and that's okay. Let's leave it for a second. Let's keep the audience wondering. But you took on a business that you worked for 4 years. You bought that from an interesting character, and you would have had to rebrand it, remake it your own. Why Onyx? You said you renamed it immediately to Onyx. Where did Onyx come from?
It's a good question. It made a lot of sense at the time. I was did some research into the best names for businesses, what works, what catches, what's sticky.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of came up with, you should keep it short, a simple word that people can associate with your business. My last name's Johnstone. I'm pretty anti naming your business after your name. I'm not a big fan of that.
Lamont Real Estate Group.
Sorry.
No, I'm just teasing.
That's just if there ever was an exit, there's a lot more value when your name's not associated with it.
Fair.
But my last name's Johnstone anyways, and I wanted to do kind of a pun on a stone, some type of stone. So, look through a list of stone, found Onyx, short, easy name. And the colors for it are black and white, typically. Mm-hmm. And those are our main brand colors, black and white. So it made sense, and roll with it.
Amazing. So, okay, we'll tell you guys. He's in security. I'll let you keep going with that. What is it that Onyx is?
Okay. So, we're a security installation company. It's kind of the underlying statement. We do alarm systems, security cameras, and access control. Those are the 3 areas that we focus on.
Okay, access control.
Access control is locks to get in and out of a door, basically, to simplify it. An access control system is, using fobs or a keypad to enter or exit a building. But we also do like smart locks. And then smart locks are really useful because they tie into our alarm systems, which I can go into detail if required. But we're kind of, 10, 15, 20 years ago, security systems were very straightforward. Cameras recorded 24 hours a day, but that was pretty much it. Alarm systems, siren went off, monitoring station would call you. That was their capabilities. But things have come a long way in the last 5 to 10 years. So we're kind of constantly always looking for the best technology, the most useful, the most reliable, best warranty, all of those things. So just to, when we finish installing a security system on your home or building, we want to feel 100% guaranteed that it's going to work when it needs to work, and the user experience is as good as possible on customers.
Okay. So when you and I met, I had just installed security here. I'm not going to say any names because we're only focused on yours, but difference between competitors and what you do. Because I know when I was looking for security, it was very hard to find a company. There was one company in Owen Sound, and every time I called, there was no answer, there was no anything. And then finally, when I did, all they asked for was my square footage of my house and then gave me a ridiculous quote. So there isn't a lot of knowledge around it, but I think in our area, growing community, my car was just broken into, houses are being broken into. We're seeing a lot more crime in these rural communities. What is the difference from what you offer? Because I know you're very proud of it, and now that we even chat, and I have, like, Derek is our in-house for real estate, where we will refer him because security goes a long way for when purchasing and reselling. But what is the differences? Sorry, I can ramble forever.
No worries, no worries. So what makes us different than other companies? I'd like to start that at the beginning. So when you call us, we answer the phone. If for some reason we don't answer the phone, we get back to you as fast as possible. There's systems we've set up over the last year that we want to start off with a good impression from the first call. After the first call, we do a site visit for every single quote we provide. And it's not just a site visit to take a look at the house. It's, looking, are the windows secure? Are the doors secure? If I was a burglar, how would I break in? And then we kind of reverse engineer what we find out on the site visit.
So wait, I have to ask.
Yep.
So were you ever a burglar, and this is why you got it?
No, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
I'm just teasing. Sorry.
No, but yeah, we care about, if it's a family, if it's a home, we care about their security. So if they're laying in bed at night sleeping, if someone was to break in, we want to do anything we can to prevent that. And if someone ever did, to alert everybody that needs to be alerted that something's happening. So an in-depth site visit is required for every quote we do. We're not looking for the fastest or the cheapest or the easiest. We're looking for the best. So site visit's done. We prepare a quote and design the system. Our team sends not just the quote and information, they also make a video for every single quote. And in that video, they break down what all the components are so you have a good understanding. It's not too much information, 5 to 10 minutes, just to catch you up to speed.
So age range, do you find, like, this is one thing, we were just actually having this conversation with Rob's grandparents. They're in their 90s. So, like, your older generation, I feel, actually need the most security. Tech savvy do you have to be to put in these security systems in homes? Like, do you find it, if you're above 75, it's too complex, or?
Absolutely, great question. So we have a range of all sorts of customers. We do get a lot of older customers that aren't as tech savvy, but to narrow it down, the alarm system and the security camera apps are very user-friendly, and we are more than happy at the end of the installation. We give about a 1-hour tutorial where they sit down, explain how things work, but also let them use it, kind of guide them through it. And then one thing that sets us apart is we're always around for support after. So if you have a question, call, text, or email, and we're there to walk you through whatever you're having a problem with. Actually,
I have to tell this story. So you referred business to me up in Stokes Bay, and they have Derek's Onyx whole alarm system in the house, and I was going to do a showing, and the alarm was error coding, and I couldn't get a hold of the homeowner. Me as a real estate agent, I'm like, well, I'm going to take advantage of knowing Derek. And I called you and you walked me right through it. You picked up your phone instantly, which in today's world is really hard to find business like that.
Yeah.
Like, customer service is huge, and you walked me through it, and we had it fixed within 10 minutes, and we were done.
Yep.
I can vouch for that service right there.
And going back to your point of other companies not answering the phone, I kind of like hearing that because it makes it easy. If you call 5 different companies and we're the ones that pick up and respond and get you the answers you need, it's a pretty easy choice.
Because do you find when people are calling you, they're not calling you just to say hi? Like in real estate, people will call me, but they're just kind of calling to poke around.
Right.
When somebody's picking up the phone to call you due to a security or an alarm, it's normally in a state of an emergency.
Yeah, for the most part. And sometimes it's that, a rough time in their life, so you have to treat it very carefully. Whether it's their house or business that got broken into or a neighbor's. So yeah, we try and handle it fast. If there's also weird situations like someone could be threatening or harming someone and they need things done fast, we'll change our schedule around. We've done that quite a few times to make sure we can get those people properly secured as fast as possible because it's a priority. So yeah, we've same with seeing a lot of alarm signals. Sometimes I'll call up a customer after I see an alarm went off and just ask them, is everything all right, and they can kind of tell you a bit more about what happened, which is it's always interesting.
Everything I'm hearing is all about just like human connection, right? Like letting people know. And I think in a world that we live in as business owners, everything is so automated. Before you came in, we were talking about AI and automation. I was on a training and recordings and Zoom, and you lose this sense of personal connection with people. But in these situations, like just calling to say, hey, are you okay? Or, hey, let me show you. Or, hey, your family member is older. I will take the time to sit down with you is huge in business. And that's why your business has doubled 250.
Yeah, 250+%
in a year.
Yeah. It's one of our core values for sure is keeping it personal. Like, we're in a technology related business, so it's very easy to get, AI could do this, or we could have this automatically done, but we try and keep things working efficiently, utilize what we can, but also keep that personal connection and relationship. I know I don't know the right term for it. I don't like saying sales because they're not really sales guys. They do the quotes assessments and design the systems, but they are, that's a very core part of who they are, is developing a relationship, making sure everyone feels like they're taken care of, all questions and concerns are answered. So it's definitely a core part.
I'm gonna sidetrack for a second just because you triggered something for me when you said I don't like to say sales. And as an entrepreneur, this is like a conversation that I love having. So we're going to hold your business side and we're going to go into the entrepreneurial side because you are that very much so. Why don't you like calling them sales guys?
Mostly from a customer point of view. I don't want them to feel like they're being sold anything. Typically they don't have to sell anything. We're, customer calls, customer emails, they're going there to provide a service, and then they're looking for the best possible solution for that customer. So it's not so much selling as it is, just providing a service, even from their end.
Okay, but wouldn't you say that we are constantly selling? Like even like sales has this stigma around it that it's so bad. I don't want to be sold to, but knowledge is sales. Education is sales. The more we learn, the more we want to be a part of something. The more we understand. I feel like, and I'm sorry, but I feel like as entrepreneurs, it is our job to change that stigma because there's nothing wrong with sales. What's wrong with sales is when you sell something that's not needed or something that is not true to what somebody is asking you for. So, sorry, when you just said that, I'm just like...
It's a very fair conversation.
I love sales. I've been in sales for 25 years. Yep. And every time I learn something new, I want to buy into it.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it costs money. It's just selling me on health or selling me on becoming a friend or selling me on an idea or selling me on... My husband wants to go for a walk in the freezing cold, and I hate walking in the winter. Selling me on that, there's so much sales around us that stigma isn't necessarily a bad thing, and we all get so caught on, don't sell to me, don't sell to me.
That's a very good point. Yeah,
it's such a good thing.
I've been battling with this thought in my head for a while of, why is there a stigma and so on. I think there's just people picture. The people in the movies that are selling, like Wolf of Wall Street type sales, and
that's just I think if we really break it down, that's just bad, not genuinely good people, right? Forget the sales side of it. If I'm sitting here and I make up a whole BS story to convince you to be on my podcast, and only 50% of it is true, and then you come on and you're like, what the heck was that? I sold you on this, but it was false. And that's just not a good human being, because they're only doing it for their personal gain.
It doesn't matter what they're doing, they're going to be doing it
for their gain.
Yeah.
But if you do it for, which you do in your business, I can already tell, we don't know each other well, but from what I know of you, you always put your client first. You understand what they need. You call them after an alarm. You go out and you look at their home. You're not just giving them a quote on the phone. Mm-hmm. You're doing all of these things that most businesses aren't, because you genuinely care. You're not doing that for personal gain. You're doing that because you understand what your client needs. That is sales, but it's sales from a good human being. So it's not a bad thing. And people aren't going to reject that the way they will reject, like if I go in and somebody's a salesperson. It's funny, my husband, I have been a salesperson for 25 years, and I am so proud of that. But you can't sell to a salesperson either if you're a BSer.
Right. I
can spot it like that. And it's like, if there's no genuine and I feel like you're BSing me, I'm out. I'm gone. And people sense that. Labeling your guys as a sales guy, they're good, genuine people. There'll never be a negative connotation around it. Sorry, this is not meant to be coaching, but
definitely gives me something to think about for sure.
It's just, as entrepreneurs, we just have so much to give if you're doing it out of kindness. Like, my core values is kindness, honesty, and give as much information to people that can help them, because we're on this planet to truly help each other, and then from there everything else just kind of aligns.
So yeah, it's definitely a good outlook. That gives me something to think about for sure.
I hope you use that moving forward. I hope it helps. Sorry.
And they are those like the two guys we have out selling right now are extremely authentic human beings, so it's not even a worry that they're going to sell something that someone doesn't need.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
There you go. Yeah. I hope that, there you go. I hope that changes your outlook on sales people as you grow your business. Okay, so let's go back into your business side. So 250% growth in a year. You genuinely care, as we can see out of it. What are the next steps for Onyx? Where do you plan to push? Like, I know you're very well known more so in Own Sound, but Port Elgin, if you are in Port Elgin and you are looking for security, here's your guy. What are the next steps? Like, what's coming for you?
Sure. So this is one of my favorite areas. Mm-hmm. Spent a lot of time in this department. So Paul Ohm, my business coach, he's now a partner. So we teamed up officially, which is, it's, you find someone like that, you gotta lock them in, put a ring on it. Anyways, but anyways,
I think he's taken.
Yeah, he is. He's a great family.
Where's the business going?
So one of his he has these common sayings. I have them memorized, but don't work in the business, work on the business. Mm-hmm. Get out of the weeds. So that's what I've been doing over the last year. As you're a Dan Martell fan, right?
Yes, Dan Martell is my coach.
So buy back your time, right? So hire the positions to get yourself out of them, to simplify it.
Yeah.
So first hires are installers, get out of the installation, which I really like doing it. Not an easy thing.
Yeah.
And then hire an office person I really don't like the admin work. I love answering the phone, but all the admin work I'm not a fan of. Get out of that, and then I was just selling, just quoting for a while, and then eventually have hired people to quote. And then now I finally have time to work on the business, mm-hmm. and it's definitely my favorite area. I absolutely love it. Over every year end, whether it's business wise or the end of the year, I love to take time to come up with a plan for the next year, plan of attack. Paul does all the budgeting, so he'll come up with a budget for the next year.
Okay.
As long as we have our goals aligned, he'll come up with the budget, and then I reverse engineer that to what do we need to do when. And then we have our goals going forward, and then we have our 5-year plan, and then reverse engineer into the 1-year plan.
So as a business owner, what would you say, because you worked in the business before you owned it for 4 years, Then you bought the business, and you would say you were working in the business for how long have you owned the Onyx now?
So January 1st, 2021. So that's
5?
4 full years, and then we're in year 5.
In your 5th year. So so would you say 3 years you worked in the business and 1 year so far more so on the business?
Yeah. Through the last year, I was getting out of it because you wear all the hats, and then you take a hat off as it goes. But through the last year, I worked on getting out of all of the hats.
Okay.
Still have my regular duties, and then the next step to pull myself more to the business would be management or leadership positions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what we were working on last year.
So in all of your experience up to date, what would you say if somebody else was in your shoes and was thinking, hey, I want to do my own business? What's one piece of advice you would give somebody, doesn't matter what business, thinking about making that leap?
The voice that's yelling the loudest in my head right now is find a mentor, find someone that can help you.
Oh my God, I love that.
Because it's...
Get a coach.
I was big into video games as a kid, and I loved cheat codes, like Grand Theft Auto cheat codes. I made the game way more fun.
How old are you?
32.
Okay, so we're 10 years difference. Did you ever play Nintendo?
Oh yeah.
And the genie, remember it was called Genie, I think, and you put it on the game and you shoved it in the Nintendo, and there was a whole book of codes, and you could cheat through the whole.
Awesome.
It was amazing.
Very cool.
But sorry, not just the cheat codes. Keep going.
So I kind of think of that like when you find the right mentor, it's kind of like getting the cheat codes. Like they're going to guide you in the right direction when you need it. They're going to tell you what to do next. Someone to talk with, especially as a business owner, it's hard to find other people to talk to. So when you're experiencing a problem, it's like, what do I do? Your employees don't always. It might not be the right conversation to have with employees. But
staff is hard, right?
Oh yeah.
I would say that was my hardest. And real estate's a bit different, but like owning the spa, I owned a fitness and clothing store. Like I've owned businesses where you have staff, and it's that is one part where it's not fun. It's rewarding, but it can be exhausting.
I completely agree. I came into business ownership with no management experience, never having people work under me, so that was a big learning curve. That's a big reason over the, say, 3 years in the middle of hiring and having to fire people. It's not always the employee's fault why they get fired, which I hate saying, and I hate letting people go.
It's the worst, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Because you work with those people, and it's hard to know that line, too, right? Of friendship and boss.
Yep.
I just hired somebody. I have an assistant, and she is like the best thing I ever hired with my assistant. But now we've hired a front desk admin, and I told my assistant, I said, I want you to train her because I don't want to become her friend. Because it's so hard, because then when you do, and it might not be the right fit, this is your business. And at the end of the day, you can't keep somebody on who isn't the right fit. It doesn't mean they're not a good person. It doesn't mean they'll thrive better somewhere else. But it's so hard to say, this isn't working out.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh, it's the worst.
You lose sleep over those situations. And it's, you develop a friendship or a working friendship, whatever you call it, and it's not an easy decision. I mean, you always feel better eventually after, especially if you find the right fit for the job. It can make a world of difference. And then with hiring alone, that's a hard area to learn too. You really have to refine what you're looking for, whether it's someone coming in with experience or someone coming in with no experience, and then the attitudes people have,
the training,
everything. I definitely try and look for people with better attitudes now, like just being positive, willing to learn, not coming in stuck in their ways and stuff like that. It makes a big difference for hiring.
Yeah. So get a coach or a mentor.
Yep.
I think that is the biggest thing, because you need somebody. I really think you need to surround yourself, and Dan Martell is actually who says this, why would you ask advice from people who have never done what you are wanting to do?
Absolutely. And I'll take that one step further. We follow people, like I like Alex Hormozy.
Yes, I like Alex too.
But he's up, in the $100 million range, let's say. That's kind of a pun on his book series. He's going to kind of forget the parts that you're struggling with right now if you're at the $500,000 or the $1 million revenue mark. So finding people who just went through what you went through are great people to ask questions to, because they just went through those, they just solved those problems. Mm-hmm. So finding people closer to where you are or where you want to be, definitely narrowing that down helps for sure too. But yeah, that's
So getting yourself in the right rooms, I find too, right? Like surrounding yourself with people who inspire you. Like I have big goals, I'm sure you do too. Yeah. And if you are surrounded by people who don't have big goals as well, you kind of become that status quo. It doesn't mean that there's no space for those people in your life. Like the big thing is like, why would you ask your mom, which I love my mom, I go to her for a lot of things, for advice, when she will never understand the dream that you have. Mm-hmm. She grew up in a different world. She grew up at a different time. So go to the person who is living the life you want to live and ask them, how did you get there? Mm-hmm. How, and go from there, and surround yourself and put yourself in rooms with people that inspire you. There's still time for those people who humble you, and still time for the people who know you. But the ones that can't understand, I have so many people say all the time, you're crazy. You work too much. Oh my gosh, Jen, how do you do it? Those are the people who make me feel like, okay, I'm okay. I love you. There's time for you. But when it comes to business building, I don't talk business with them. Mm-hmm.
It's good motivation when they say those things.
Yeah.
Okay, like I've been told, oh, you need to get a hobby. You need to do something after work, but
this is your hobby.
Yeah, that's all you think about, right? That's what makes you happy.
Do you find that you don't see work as work? You see it as your life? Mm-hmm. Or do you see, I'm actually genuinely curious, do you see Onyx as work, where you go in and you work, 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. and then you shut it off and now I'm Derek again? Or is Derek and Onyx life?
It's a solid question. Also not easy to answer. Yeah, like what comes to mind is I kind of picture it like it's a machine that I'm building, that I'm always working on, like a mechanic in a garage. Mm-hmm. You just want to make it as good as possible. Get as much value as possible out of it for everyone, whether it's employees or the end user of the products. You just want to invest in something that's going to grow with you. And then there is a line between family and business. Okay. For sure. Certain hours of the day are definitely for family, parts of the weekends, if, try and get as much time with them as possible.
So how old are your kids? I know you have kids, right?
Yeah. So my son Leo's 4, turning 5 in March, and then my daughter Luna is 17 months. 17. Oh, you're big. Yeah, so it's...
Okay, I get the line now.
Yeah. You go through those... She had like a playpen. We just put the playpen away because she's getting too big for it. Mm-hmm. So you're starting to get those, oh man, she's not a baby anymore.
Yeah, and it's devastating.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, there was a Howard Stern podcast, and this is an old video clip, and there's a mom reading a letter from a writer on the podcast, and I listen to it, and every time I listen to it, I sob uncontrollably, like sloppy cry. And the other day it popped up, so I'm sitting at dinner with both my boys, who are, Lincoln is 16 and Preston is 14, so a lot older, but it goes in a blink. And we're listening, and I made them listen to it. And they're like, why, Mom? You're just going to start crying. And I did. And I bawled, and I'm like, you have no idea. And in the quote, she's reading that somebody else wrote, but it says, it goes so fast, and then you get these stupid memories on Facebook, and you're looking at a picture of your kid from 5 years ago, and it's a face of somebody you never got to. I'm going to get emotional just...
Oh, man.
That you never got to say goodbye to. Because you don't realize it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, being a parent is like the best. Oh my God. Like, my boys are my world. My husband as well. But my boys are my world. And then, in a blink, it's just like, and each stage is amazing. But hold on, Dad.
Right.
Holy man, it's...
Yeah, there's those little things that really give you a reality check, which is good too, because it slows you down. Yeah. Makes you, really be present in those moments. Yeah, you get them quite regularly. Yeah, I seen a post of something like, you don't know when the last time you're going to pick up your kid is.
I just did this. I have to show you a video. Lincoln would not, neither one of them would. Lincoln, who is 16, I seen this. I started bawling. I sent it to them, and I called them upstairs, and I said, I need to try to carry you. Yeah. And I picked up, Lincoln is 6'1", and he's massive.
Yeah.
And I picked him up and I recorded it because I planned on putting it on social media. And he said, "You are not putting that on social media." So I have the video just for me. I'll show you.
That's funny.
And it was literally like, I'm never going to be able to carry you again.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
No.
But that's the other thing where it comes to taking risk and it comes to just going for it and getting uncomfortable. Because if anything last year taught me, there was so much, I don't know if you had it, but I just feel like 2025 was so much tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much loss and pain and suffering for people. And it was just like, tomorrow's not promised. And the people who you are so afraid, what will they think? Because that's why that's why we don't do it. What will people think? They're not going to be there. They're not the ones that are paying your bills. And tomorrow isn't promised. And why the frig not? Just go for it.
Absolutely.
Put yourself out there. Do the things you want to do. And it's going to build an incredible life for that
Yeah.
beautiful little daughter that you might not be able to pick up in 10 years.
You gotta,
My goal, let's get you to cry. Just teasing.
yeah, put on a sappy
Yeah.
movie, it's game over.
I'm comfortable. Come on.
One of my favorite YouTube shows, I always try and mention them as much as possible because not a lot of people know of them, but they're pretty popular. Yes Theory.
Okay.
It's a great YouTube channel.
Oh,
I've watched them
never
since
heard
they
of it.
were like starting. That's what they're all about, is saying yes to things
Okay.
that make people uncomfortable. Seek discomfort is kind of their slogan.
Okay.
It's very good, but they travel the world, making people uncomfortable and then developing relationships.
That
It's
way.
very cool because it gives you a taste, whether they're in Europe, Asia, wherever they are, you actually get to know the humans that they're connecting with,
Amazing.
and then you really realize they're not much different than we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Connection is key. Like, I really believe that. Like, I was so scared. I'll never forget when I invested in Dan Martell. He was not a small price point at all. The first time I signed up with Dan, I did the full year. Then I did a year. My business, it would have tripled. He's incredible, and I always say, if anybody can get on a call with him, definitely do it. Even when he does the Instagram lives and you can jump on, and as scary as it is, just do it. The second time, I was like, okay, you know what? April until October in real estate, I don't have time to jump on the calls. So this time I only did 6 months. So I'm doing 6 months with him, then I'll take 6 months off and I'll go back into the 6 months. But I remember just being so afraid of that investment and so scared. I don't know where I was going with this.
seeking discomfort.
Oh, yeah. It was so freaking uncomfortable. And the first time I got on that call, I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. We're going to invest in it. And it pays off tenfold. And it's all about connections. Like, people in that group I have met and now are my friends and have gotten me business or have pushed me on social media or have helped me grow my social media to give me the credibility in my local market that people are like, oh, people see her listings. I want to list with her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's doing, when I do a video showing that I scrub stains out of the carpet, people are like, oh, I've never seen anybody do. It just gets that credibility, but it's all through connection. From Dan, I met Adley in the Viralist training course. I did that course. I went to Nashville. I met the executive producer of American Idol. Like, sat in the room. I sat and chatted with the Real Housewives, and she offered to come on my podcast. Now, we've never actually set it up. We had a lot of wine in us, so maybe it'll never happen. But she still did, and
Very cool.
it's really cool, and it's all about connecting and being with people and understanding people. Like, the world is so incredible.
Yeah. And you never know who's out there who you're going to connect with.
Yeah.
It's just pushing yourself to do those things.
It gets me so excited. Like, 2026 is all about consistency and connections for me. I call it my double C's. 2026, what is looking for you? What is your, if you had to pick your 3 things you're going to focus on to grow your business as an entrepreneur, what would you?
Yeah, I started with what we were planning for this year. Yeah, consistency and connections.
Yeah.
That's yours. Okay, so I named ours. It's the year of the launch pad. That's what I named it.
Okay.
So I have one location in Unsound right now, with 2 trucks rolling out of there. Kind of divided it, line in the sand, west of Own Sound and east of Own Sound. And then right now we go to Collingwood. It's kind of furthest that way. Durham, Hanover, Walkerton, Kincardine. That's all the way up to Tobermory. So that's our range right now.
Okay. I'm seeing your signs.
Yeah.
Like, last few times, even in Sauble, I was doing a listing presentation. I'm like, oh, there's Onyx.
So we started in Sauble, by the way. Davidson Security was the major provider in Sauble Beach. So that's where we started. And then once I took over, I knew we had to grow if I wanted to grow and if the business wanted to grow. So we kind of tackle that whole market right now, trying to get, as many people protected as possible in that area. And then we just purchased a company in Thornbury, Clearview Security, so we just bought them. Getting everybody switched over now. And then we've been talking with another company, possibly purchase in Collingwood way. So we're definitely wanting to grow into Collingwood. It's an easy choice for us. There's one company that kind of dominates the market there. Love to give them a run for their money.
Yeah.
And then we want to have a second location. Sorry, it'll be our third location south of us, Hanover, Walkerton, Listowel way.
Okay.
So, strategy, I kind of named it the mitosis strategy.
Okay.
So we're one truck, two guys. One guy's training the other guy. Once he's fully trained, he starts in a truck, trains another guy, and so on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the key to our growth strategy is training and keeping standards high. Same with our sales reps. Train someone, that sales rep goes to a new location, spreads it, grows over time. So over the next year, 3 locations by the end of the year. And then next year, 2027, adding 3 more locations.
Oh.
Just spreading.
You are going to be busy.
Yeah.
That's amazing, though. And with your core values and just getting to know you on the little scale that I've been able to get to know you over the last, I would say, 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
I have no doubt that you will thrive.
I appreciate it.
And we will definitely push you with our clients as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we love residential. We do a lot of residential.
Wow.
I always say 50-50 residential commercial.
Yeah.
But in the last 6 months, we've done so much residential. So
I think you're just seeing so much crime around here. I think it's everywhere. I just think in these small pockets, you just feel so violated.
Yeah.
Like when our car got broken into, I looked at my cameras and seeing somebody go into my car, be in my car for a long period of time, and then leave with my bag and then go into somebody else. It just feels so ugh. And then I heard that same person was arrested, but they were actually going into houses.
Right.
Which is even scarier. That just, you hear about that in the bigger cities. You don't hear about that here.
Yeah.
And it's here now.
Yeah.
So
more popular. It's your stuff and it's your space. And that's your car getting violated. It's even worse if it's your house or your business too. Like that's where you're.
The thing that jaw drops me is the fact that it's happening even with cameras.
Yeah, whether they see them or not, yeah, it does definitely happen.
And I think that shows because I didn't, because I was in contract. Once my contract's up, we will be switching our home to you.
Sounds great.
But the quality matters because yes, we could see it, but you couldn't really see much. It was very pixelated. So when you give that to the police, they're like, you can't really see much. I can't really prove that it's this guy.
Yeah, so a lot to say there.
Yeah.
Without getting too technical, but you asked before what makes us different than the other companies. If you're comparing to like a telecom company, I'm not going to name any telecom companies, but they love to sell you security. They're just trying to make more a month. They're all about the monthly fees. So they might not even quote your property. They might just give you cameras or have someone install cameras while they're installing the internet or phone lines or whatever. But that's why we're different. When we're doing the quote process, they're thinking, where's the optimal placement? What's the optimal camera for this location? How's the lighting at night? Do they need really good night vision or do they just need regular night vision? Is the doorbell the optimal placement or is the corner of the house the optimal placement? So that's something that really sets us aside. So when you need footage, it's the best possible footage. And some of the cameras we have available are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So
there's no point in having it if you can't actually, when you need it, it's not
absolutely
actually usable.
So every time, I don't do that much quoting anymore, but anytime I'm talking to a customer and I show them my camera system at home, and I show them the night vision,
Mm-hmm.
they can't tell the difference between the day and the night.
Oh, wow.
It's almost identical. So 400 yards away, if you're trying to see if a vehicle's there, black and white, you can usually see 40, 50 feet, but you can see just as clear as you can a day.
At 400 yards?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have some cameras that'll do a few kilometers.
Okay, so I do this with everybody as we're wrapping up. Walk me through. I'm completely green to security. I've just called you. Say, hey, I'm thinking about putting security into my home. Walk me through the process for camera. And not too intense, but like, what does it look like? How long before I have cameras operating in my house? Average cost, like obviously you're not held to anything, but like what does it look like to get security? How expensive is it? In a full circle as we wrap up this episode.
A million things I could say to that. So basically, when you call us, we answer the phone, and then we try and book you in for a site visit. Have one of our guys come by and take a look, really understand the property so they can provide a good solution for you. They'll put together a quote, send the quote over with a video, explain everything. Any period of the time, feel free to contact us with questions. We're more than happy to answer. The two most common systems for residential, small commercial are alarm systems and security cameras. So alarm systems can range from, a difference with us than the telecom companies is we charge an initial fee. You own the equipment, that's your equipment. An alarm system should be good for 10, 20, even 30 years. And security cameras, 10 to 15 years is a normal range for a professional camera. And in 10 years, who knows what cameras will be like anyways, for all the crazy features they're going to come out with. But alarm system can range from $1,000 to $2,000 for a house. Camera system can range from $2,000 to $3,500 for a regular house, depending on the features, resolution, everything that's required or that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then we do have some packages when we're putting things together, and it really adds a lot of value when we call it the Onyx Shield package. So when we come in, we're making sure everything's covered, whether it's inside, so an alarm system protects the interior of the house, lets you know the second somebody's in the house that shouldn't be, and security cameras protect the outside to get the evidence through your eyes. So whatever you need to see outside, they're covering outside. It's kind of the price range. There's lots of different capabilities possible. So.
Okay. So, monthly fees after?
Alarm systems, if they're monitored, have a monthly fee. We should be cheaper than the telecom companies because you're purchasing purchasing the equipment, and then we're just doing the monitoring. It's actually a third party that does the monitoring. They're keeping an eye on the system 24 hours a day. That's only for alarm systems. There's no monthly fees with the camera systems. But yeah, they range from $22.95 a month to $40 a month, depending on packages.
So let's just say I call you and I say, okay, $2,000 is my budget. I would like to get some security and alarm system. Could I have a decent operating system for my home in the $2,000 range?
Yeah, with alarm system, very easy to do. You have full coverage of your house. Our cameras, because they're professional grade, are a little tricky to keep cheap. Mm-hmm. We don't like the word cheap. Like the reason you're calling a professional security company is because you want somebody that is actually going to secure your house, that you feel trusted, that it's going to be working 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So we're looking for the most reliable equipment, installing only the best.
Right.
Because we sleep at night when we can guarantee that your equipment's working.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, we can, especially if you give us a budget, we can really design the system to the budget, or just have us, we offer free security assessments.
Okay.
So just give us a call. We can come take a look. There's no obligation. Make our recommendations, and then provide you with a couple options. And if you have a budget, we can stick
work within that
budget.
budget.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Okay. Well, for this, if you are looking for security in the Port Elgin, Southampton area, Kincardine, well, all of Grey Bruce, but for this scenario, let's say Port Elgin, because I feel like there is a lot of people needing it here. When I was broken into, I called you right away and said, hey, call my neighborhood. There's so many people that don't have cameras. Because I went through and called everybody and said, did you catch it? And they're like, oh, actually, we don't have it. And now people are getting them. But if you are looking reach out. You get a free quote, a free assessment of your house, and they're willing to work within your budget. And then there's no, well, unless you want your alarm system in, there's no monthly fees, where a lot of telecom companies, you're paying a rental for this equipment, which is pricey and expensive every single month. So it's an upfront cost, but then you have nothing to pay for afterwards.
Absolutely.
Is that a fair sum?
Yeah. Give us a call, 519-422-2499, or go to the website, onyxsecurity.ca.
If you're watching this on Instagram, it will be tagged. He will be tagged in all of our posts. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, we will make sure we put all of his contacts in the comments. One last question before you go.
Uh-oh.
I want to know, because I think security is interesting, and I've heard a ton of stories, and I'm sure, well, maybe it won't work for you, because I'm sure you don't watch all the videos. You have no access to watching them once they're up and running. But what is the funniest story you have when working in this, or most uncomfortable? Like, we have a friend of ours. He runs a pest control company, and he informed me he was spraying the pool deck of one of our friends, and he fell in the pool. And they caught it on video, and I think that is hilarious. Do you have any funny stories that you can?
We have a couple, like, especially with our own cameras on our shop or our office. We have a blooper reel of people falling. You know, it's funny, but it's not funny.
Oh, it's hilarious. I am that person.
And then we have seen some videos, which is where it gets a little touchy, privacy-wise, that the clips end up going to the police and are used in investigations. But I have seen a couple of those that are extremely hilarious, but it is used in court, so I have to be careful.
Okay.
But the one involved a dog attack, and the fails of the people in the video are gut-bustingly funny.
Oh, that's...
but it's bad because someone got bit by a dog, but
okay.
Everything that happens in the video is hilarious. But on a serious note, I was gonna go. We've seen people not get cameras when things have happened, and that's more on the serious now. Yeah,
it's okay. You can end it with something serious, because realistically, everyone should have some sort of security for their home, and safety does matter, especially when you have your loved ones in. The people that live inside those walls are the most important people to you.
Absolutely.
I learned it the hard way before having our camera system set up, and I wish I would have had it. So definitely end with that serious note.
Sure. So what we do a lot of the time is serious. You know, we're dealing with serious matters, but our culture, work-wise, we're very fun, laughing. We all enjoy. We have a great culture. But anyways, one of our customers, he was a customer, moved to a new location. Beautiful house, built a beautiful house from scratch. Started moving everything in on a Sunday, and they were actually moving in on the Monday, but they moved in all their family's, prized possessions, a lot of their guns and ammo and everything, moved it in. Then they went to their last house for the night.
Sorry, they didn't own the house yet, and they were moving?
They built it.
Oh,
They were
okay.
moving from their old house.
Okay. Sorry, as a real estate agent, I'm like, what?
And this ties into the real estate world. So they had just built it. They never thought of installing security. They moved all their stuff in, and over that night, someone went in and stole all of their valuables.
Oh my God.
And they never thought anything of it. And we were there the next day installing cameras. Police were still there getting evidence and everything. But it's never a good thing to have as an afterthought, especially if you're building a house. That's the perfect time for us to get in, put everything in before it's needed, when we can hide stuff as good as possible.
Amazing. So the one thing I took from that is the next day they called you, you were there, and that service you don't see. We love to support local. We love to support families, people who are genuinely good human beings, and Derek Johnstone, Onyx Mortgages, is definitely that. We met 6 months ago. I think he's an incredible human being, and I know we'll have a friendship for a long term. Reach out to him. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm sure we'll have you back. It was an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If anything from today's conversation stayed with you, let it. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet and sometimes it's simply just choosing to keep going. Wherever you are in your journey, whether things feel heavy or hopeful, or somewhere in between, you're not behind and you're definitely not alone. Take what you need from this conversation, leave the rest, and trust that everything will be okay. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. I am Jen Lamont, and this is Uncomfortable Growth.